Marc Fogel was living a seemingly ordinary life. He was a teacher, he worked abroad, Russia was his classroom. For almost a decade he taught at the Anglo-American school in Moscow. Life wasn't always easy, but it was his life. Then, in August 2021, everything changed. Fogel was arrested at Sheremetyevo Airport in Moscow. The charge? Drug smuggling. Russian authorities found 17 vape cartridges in his luggage. These cartridges contained cannabis oil, about 19 grams worth. Fogel claimed they were for medical use. He said a doctor in the U.S. prescribed them for chronic back pain. Russian authorities weren't buying his story. They didn't care about his medical history. They saw a crime, a serious one, and they were ready to make an example out of him. The Russian legal system came down hard on Marc Fogel. He was found guilty of drug smuggling and possession. His punishment? 14 years in a Russian penal colony. 14 years. For some vape cartridges? It seemed beyond harsh. It seemed outrageous. Fogel's case drew immediate comparisons to another American detained in Russia around the same time, Brittany Griner. Griner, a WNBA star, was caught with cannabis oil at a Moscow airport. Her case became a media sensation. Public pressure mounted on the U.S. government to secure her release. In December 2022, Griner was freed in a prisoner swap. The U.S. negotiated her release in exchange for Viktor Bout, a Russian arms dealer. Griner's homecoming was met with relief and joy, but it also raised a troubling question: what about Marc Fogel? The U.S. government has publicly acknowledged the injustice of Marc Fogel's detention. They officially classified him as wrongfully detained. This classification is important. It means the U.S. government recognizes the severity of his situation. It also means they're more likely to prioritize his release. However, securing Fogel's freedom is a diplomatic nightmare. Relations between the U.S. and Russia are at an all-time low. The war in Ukraine has created a massive rift between the two countries. Negotiating anything with Russia is incredibly difficult, especially a prisoner exchange. Despite the obstacles, efforts to free Marc Fogel continue. His family has been tirelessly advocating for his release. They've spoken out in the media, urging the U.S. government to do more. They've contacted lawmakers, pleading for their support. The Biden administration insists they are committed to bringing Fogel home, but they've also stressed the complexity of the situation. Prisoner swaps are delicate negotiations. They involve high stakes and even higher risks. As of today, February 12, 2025, Marc Fogel remains imprisoned in Russia. His fate hangs in the balance, a pawn in a geopolitical chess match. Will he be another bargaining chip in a high-stakes prisoner exchange? Or will he be left to languish in a Russian prison cell, forgotten by the world? One thing is certain: the fight for his freedom is far from over.